All right, so we're working on a new example where we're talking about a real world scenario in terms of crafting, and we're going to find the area of a circle. So we have a square scrapbook. It has a square scrapbook page that has an area of 144 square inches. Jillian wants to cut the largest circle possible from the page to create a layered background for a new page. What is the approximate area of the paper circle? We're going to use 3.14 for pi, and we're going to round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. All right, so first things first, I noticed that they mentioned that there's a square scrapbook page. So the first thing we're going to do is draw our square scrapbook page. I know this looks more like a rectangle. Maybe I'll make it a little bit smaller. Here we go. All right, so we have our square scrapbook page, and they tell us that the area is going to be 144 square inches. Okay, so what that tells me, remember, if we go back to our formula in terms of a parallelogram or rectangle, square, remember that the formula is going to be length times width or base times height, whichever one you want to use, right? So we'll say length times width. And whatever it is, the length times the width is going to come out to 144 when we multiply it. Now, whatever that number is, it has to be the same number because it is a square, right? So a square is going to have all of the sides are the same, right? So there's a couple ways that we could figure this one out because this is a simpler problem. What number what number times itself will give us 144? Well, hopefully we recognize that 12 times 12 is equal to 144. So what that tells me is that my length is equal to 12 and my width is also equal to 12. And if I multiply the 12 for the width and the length, I end up with 144 square inches. Now, let's say that you did not know what that answer is. When we talk about a number being squared, you can use the inverse of an exponent, which is the square root. So if we plug this into our calculator, 144, and you hit the square root, it's going to tell you what number has to be multiplied by itself in order for you to have 144. So I'm going to hit that square root button, and there you go. We have 12. So that is going to be the length and the width of the page. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to fit a circle on here, the largest size circle that we can fit on here without going off of the page. Okay. So what we're trying to figure out is we know that the diameter would be 12. Okay, that's as far as we can go as far as the length. Maybe I should make it like this because I wanted to touch all of the sides. All right, so notice now that our circle is touching. No, it's not the best circle, but it's touching all the sides. So remember, our diameter is from one end of the circle to the other end of the circle. It's the distance going straight across, and that is 12. Well, when we try to find the area of a circle, remember our formula for the area of a circle is area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Well, if we want to find the radius, remember that's just taking your diameter, you divide it by 2, and then you have what's called the radius. Well, in this case, our radius is going to be equal to the diameter, which is 12. 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. So our radius is going to be 6. So I'm going to just rewrite my statement up here. We don't have the area yet, so I'm going to keep my variable. That is going to be equal to, for pi, they tell us that we're going to use 3.14, so I'll put 3.14. Our radius is going to be 6, and we're going to square that, right? So that's what we have now for our problem. Now, remember, because our variable is isolated, we're going to use PEMDAS, but we're going to use PEMDAS from top down. So PEMDAS. All right, using PEMDAS from top down, we will start off with parentheses, which we don't have, but we do have an exponent. So we're going to take care of that first. So then we're left with area is equal to 3.14 times 6 times 6 is 36. Okay. And then we're going to multiply 36 times 3.14. So we'll have 36 times 3.14. So the area is going to be 113.04. And this is area. So remember, if we're talking about area, we need to have our unit and it is going to be squared. So the largest area that we can get out of here, the approximate area of the paper circle is going to be 113 and 400 square inches.